Kathy for getting chatty with Kathy, and I want to thank you guys for being here today. It is a beautiful spring day here in Regina. The vibe here has been just so nice. I feel like the winter layer is kind of shaking off of us, and we're coming out of hibernation. Thank goodness. I feel like every winter is a long winter. Anyways, I have a really wonderful ray of sunshine here. I have been blessed to get to know this woman for the last, since around Christmas. Mm-hmm. So it's been about, 3 or 4 months now. And since I've gotten to know you, I have really enjoyed your energy. And I think that you viewers out there are in for a treat to get to know this wonderful lady. So I will leave it to you. I have Miss Jessica in house. Woo, woo. Woo, woo. Jessica Pegg, tell us what's up with you.
Whoa, that's a big question. I'm just so excited to be here, getting chatty with Kathy. Whoop, whoop. We've connected in December because I reached out to QC Gifts to get gifts for my clients.
Yay, you're wonderful. I really, you were the exact customer for my business that I love. I remember getting your email and you're like, I'm a busy office woman and I need to get some stuff done and I don't want to worry about doing gifting because I know you can do it. Here's a budget. I don't worry about it being a little bit more because I'm happy to pay artists their fair wage. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It's true. It's hard sometimes to sell those more high-end pieces, but it's time right there. So anyways, I appreciated that. Anyways, and then I'm a member of WESK, which is called
Women Entrepreneurs of Saskatchewan.
Thank you. It's a tongue twister for me. And you are also an employee there, giving out some wonderful advice to groups of people. From my experience, I see you weekly right now, and it's been a pleasure. Honestly, I really hope that let's talk about that later, but I have some ideas. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Jessica Pegg,
yes.
Please tell us where you get your energy from.
I suck it from my children. No, I don't know where it comes from. I do think it had to do a lot with moving a lot as a child. So we moved every 3 years. So I was constantly being forced to have to make friends.
So you were put out there to do it.
Yeah, and fortunately it aligned with my personal energy. I have 2 children. I have 1 child that would not have worked well for.
Yeah.
But it worked well for me, and I think I've just carried that through where when I meet someone and I decide I'm going to get to know them, you don't have a choice anymore.
I love that. I feel like people sometimes are really connected. They meet each other and you're like, how have we not met yet? We should have been friends our whole lives. And then there's sometimes other people I'm like, I don't get you, but your vibe is not my vibe.
Yeah.
It's weird how without even getting into much of an interaction. Well, I have to tell you, when I started talking to you and throughout these weekly meetings, I'm like, this is my type of person. You speak the truth. You're fair, you're honest, and you know what? You have an opinion and you tell people it. I love that.
Well, some people love it and some people hate it.
Fair enough.
But I'm okay with that. And that's something, in entrepreneurship, I've really realized you're not trying to please everyone. And I think we've heard that growing up, you don't have to please all the people all the time, but that's especially true in entrepreneurship. Especially when you're starting out, you want everyone to buy, right? Your audience, people are like, who's your audience? You're like, anyone who'll buy from me. Anyone.
What do you want? I'll make it.
Yeah, I'll make it. You want a different program from what I offer? I'll make that for you.
From scratch.
80
hours for $10.
No problem. I will make it for you. And so I've really come to learn that the way forward and the way to be successful in business is to not do that at all. And it really, if you're new in business, that can really challenge your beliefs because you start to go, but they want to give me money and I'm going to say no to the money? What am I doing here?
It's hard to make your niche and make your... somebody got me to read a book called Traction, and it really helped me to be you know what that pink hippo is all about, right? So that we really shined in in an area, because before I was doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think everyone, if you don't do that when you start out in entrepreneurship, are you even an entrepreneur?
It's true. It's but the stuff that I've done, I'm like, oh gosh, all the energy and time. But you know what? All of that is such a good learning curve to make you to where you are today, where you're hustling your thing, doing your thing,
Yeah.
and it just flows.
It just
gets
flows.
there.
Yeah, and that's something I was literally talking to someone yesterday about embracing your unique strengths. And what that really entails is realizing that just because something's fun and easy for you does not devalue what it is. And that goes back to paying artists fair wages and paying really anyone fair wages, is recognizing that they bring a unique strength that you don't have, and owning that. Like, it can be something so simple. And I talk to my clients in my own business about like hiring a virtual assistant and things like that. And we really get hung up on the belief that we should be able to do everything ourselves as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs. Like, there's a whole term coined to like make us feel better about it. But like, you're not the expert at everything.
Right, and somebody can do it better.
Someone can do it faster and better. So pay them. It'll take them half as long. Like, it just all kind of intertwines. So I just think everyone is on this earth to provide some sort of service, whatever that might be. And so, like, why not allow someone to do that for you?
And like lean into yours, so
Yeah.
you get better at yours, and then it just turns into a big circle of like awesomeness.
Yeah.
But it takes people time to get there. Like, I honestly think I didn't figure out what I like to do at all until I was almost in my like 40s.
Yeah.
Like, it took me
Same.
that long. You know? Now I feel fabulous.
Yes.
Like, I just want to scream from the rooftops, but it took like a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I turned 25 and I called it my quarter life crisis because I believed that I had failed at everything.
Oh.
I was like, I don't have a house. I'm single. I'm not married. I have no kids.
The stress.
I have no job. I had gotten laid off. So I was like, I have no job. Like, I just felt like such a failure with a capital F. And looking back, I'm like, oh, to be that person again. She had not a care in the world.
It's true. But, like, all of those things made you such a... Like, today, I'll give you a perfect example. I was driving here, and legit, I got... somebody drove into me, right? You know what? I remember years ago, somebody hit my brand new car, and I was, like, so upset over it. I'm like, my car. This time, I have a much nicer car now, and... I looked at it, I looked at her, I said, are you okay? I'm like, it's all good. Like, It's just a thing. But all of these years of experience give us that, like,
change your perspective.
Value.
Change your perspective entirely. And that's something that I've really found with business ownership. And when I do, like, peer mentoring, which you were touching on earlier.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's not dance around this anymore. So, Jessica is part of WESK, which helps, like, you know, entrepreneurs get to where they're going. So they had a call out for women entrepreneurs, or maybe it was any entrepreneur, I'm not sure.
It was women.
Okay, cool. I don't want to like put myself in a box if it isn't a box. And it was because we got some funding or something.
Yeah, so WESK is part of, how do I explain this? There are a number of agencies across Canada that all support women entrepreneurs in their province. So this particular peer mentorship program that you're a part of is funded by WeBC, so Women Entrepreneurs of BC. And so they're sharing with us their unique model for peer mentorship and allowing us to replicate it here in Saskatchewan. So we have the first two WeBC peer groups running here in Saskatchewan, and you're in one of the two groups.
And here's what it is. It's so cool. It is so cool. I had no idea about there's 8 of us. There's 8 people doing different businesses and trying to figure out what is like their entrepreneur spirit going to do. And so we all meet once a week, and we go through like a set of like
It's structured.
Yeah. And like the first time we did like a little test run, it was for a pottery. What's
Maria, sorry, Maria, I always say your name wrong.
She is a potter in between Saskatoon and Regina, and there's a shed that she puts her pottery in. And people come, and it's the honor method where they just pay what
they pay. No one's there.
No one's there.
There's no one in the store. So you like stop, you pick what you want, you pay, and you go, and it's all like automated. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. And then she works in her studio. So she was trying to figure out how to like build her business. So over the last couple of years, she has renovated her home to be like a pottery.
Yes, claycation.
Which is phenomenal. I do pottery. So she's talking about this stuff, and I'm like, I want to be there so bad.
I don't do pottery, and I was like, this sounds so amazing.
How many people can go? We should
We should find out. I think she said 6. Don't quote us on that, though.
Maybe she could fit 8 of us, and we could do our group.
We could do our finale there. We'll take that offline. Maria, we're coming.
Oh, that would be so wonderful. She's wonderful. Do you know she reached out after mine and like wants to buy stuff from me now because of that. She's so kind. So what we did though with Maria, did I say it right?
Maria.
Is she basically got humble with us and open, and she just talked about her business and like why like that renovation for the weekend getaway was like weighing on her, because like as entrepreneurs you have to take such risks, you know. Like she like had to probably refinance her house to do this staycation, like, and she was just open about, okay, I have to now start our advertising and getting into like the nuts and bolts of what it means to like now be there. And it was, as a group of us, it was so cool to like hear her talk, because all of us resonated with what she was saying. It's like, you know, the chances and the risk we're all taking with our businesses and decisions we're making, and then how it resides in our head after we've made those decisions.
Well, even like, let's talk about you. You just had your turn. So the way we set up peer mentorship is each week there's a situation owner where one person gets to talk about what is going on. And it can be a problem, an opportunity, and they just get to like, blah, say it. No one can interrupt.
Right. It's intense because like that's a long time to talk.
It is. It is a long time to talk, but it's interesting because everyone starts off thinking, how am I going to fill 20 minutes of time of just talking about myself, about my business? But as you get going, and for the entrepreneurs listening, I'm sure that you're like, oh, I couldn't fill 20 minutes. We'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Because as you start out off high level, but there's always more backstory. And it's just so powerful to hear another entrepreneur, because everyone in that group resonates with something that you're saying. So sometimes people feel like silly or like their problem isn't a problem, but everyone resonates with that. And that's something with the Women Entrepreneurs of Saskatchewan that is what makes it a community.
It definitely, like, now that I've been sitting with these women for a while, I can feel like that we're all in it together. I know it sounds cheesy, but I really do. And like, it's amazing how just 1 hour a week can really build something and give you that network to kind of be like, okay, these are great. Different point of views too. That was huge for me. So I'll tell you guys what I talked about in my group session. So I was just like, I want to get my business out there more. I want people to know that I am like the souvenir, and like Saskatchewan and other like other artists can come to me to represent them. Like I want to be the hub of Saskatchewan, like stuff.
Makers.
Yes.
Makers unite.
Yes. And like if businesses want to have a gift box from that, awesome. If like some store wants to wholesale it, I'll give it to you, you know, like, and so I'm telling people in the group about this, and then they look online and they post like different like clarifying questions and things that you don't really necessarily think about. So when I left, I had a few things in my head. So I was thinking about maybe QC Gifts isn't the right business name, first of all. And I remember when Olivia said that, it's like, oh God, I have so many logos and things printed with that, like a rebranding, but like from her perspective and everybody in the room, I was like, those fresh eyes were really valuable. So I've left with that, and then just different ideas on where I can like get myself out there, like a hotel box or like a newcomer box, and like all of those ideas that, you know, you think about and you're like, yeah, but no, now I'm gonna be accountable and have to do some of this stuff,
because we're gonna ask you about it on Thursday.
So I've been it's been resonating with me. And you record it so we can listen to it later, because like, you know, each time I'm probably going to observe a little bit
different. Yeah.
So that's one of the beautiful things that I've gotten from being a member, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, WESK, we get funded. Okay, let me start at the beginning. The biggest portion of what WESK does is actually provide business advisory and funding to women. So we have our own loan fund. And I think since inception, we've given out like $45 million in loans. Like, it's a lot.
Wow.
We have 800 members. And so as a member, you get access to business advisory services. And at different tiers, you get like unlimited access to a business advisor, but they can connect you to experts, to lawyers, to HR professionals, like
at a huge reduced rate too.
Oh.
Like huge reduced. So $50 for your first accounting session or something.
yeah,
like that?
and
It was
we've created expert access. So if you work with a business advisor, they will set up a joint meeting with you, your business advisor, and let's say a lawyer. And that's just part of our program.
Yeah.
Like we pick up the cost. So that's why we have the business advisor there, is to help keep you super focused so you get the biggest bang for that time to like get the most out of it.
Amanda was mine for the longest time. And now I kind of got my rhythm going. But for the first year, she sat and had a meeting with me weekly.
Yeah, it's unlimited, right? Like
It was
as
amazing.
much support as you need.
And she was like, okay, let's meet again. And she would like brainstorm with me on ways, like Sask abilities and my partnership with them, that came from her. Like she was like, what about getting them to sew stuff? They're a really great business. Did you know they have a sewing facility? Like, say what?
Yeah, it's like getting you super close. So, you can't see the forest through the trees. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, sometimes we get bogged down in what we can't do, what's not available to us. So working with a business advisor lets you see what is available, and they actually create real connections. I just connected someone at WESK Connect in Saskatoon. I met an amazing woman who runs her own construction business, and I connected her to Women Building Futures, which is a nonprofit that specializes in getting women into the trades. So there's just all these opportunities. The ecosystem is so huge that how could you possibly navigate that by yourself? Like, get a business advisor. That's literally their job, is to help you navigate it.
And it's hard at first because when I first started my business, I didn't even know I needed like what business licenses, how to get a number for your taxes. Like all of that stuff was like foreign to me because I had always worked for the government or for like an education system or whatever my background was, and it was never starting something. You don't do that very often, so it was so good to have somebody there. And then the other thing that I really love about you guys is you guys really celebrate. You don't just like there's lots of networking events. You guys have lots of great speakers like monthly, but then you also once a year celebrate businesses. And your gala's
Gala's coming up in May. Tickets still available for Gala. Go to WESK.ca.
I went to last year. You guys invited me. It was wonderful. And they bought our gift boxes. So we had like local merchants in these gift boxes that went to all of the presenters and all of the winners. It was just...
Yeah. So Gala's coming up quickly. I mean, May sounds like it's a far ways away, but it's not because my birthday's in May and I'm counting down. So yeah, May 15th is Gala. You can still nominate someone. So if you know a woman entrepreneur, there's a bunch of different categories you can nominate them for.
Innovation,
Indigenous partnerships,
yes.
lifetime achievement. We recognize someone. So there's lots of different things. Go and look. Nominate a woman in your life, because that is the other thing about women, and I don't like to admit this, but we are hard on ourselves. We don't recognize
self-talk,
right? The inner dialogue, the mom guilt,
mom guilt.
There's everything. So if you see a woman in your life who has a business, nominate her. Even just knowing that she was nominated will change her day, change her year, change her perspective on what she's doing.
I love that.
Like, she doesn't need to win. The nomination is powerful.
100%.
And she might win.
You know what? I think we don't, in our own little businesses, have cheerleaders. Like, when you're in a big business, they freaking have a team to be like, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, HR's there. For me, it's like the partnerships and the networking and all that I get that from.
Yeah. So, WESK, we do a lot of the business advisory and loans are huge.
Yes.
Then there's the advocacy, and we have a program that we're trying to get off the ground, Charter Champion. And so this is where we're getting larger organizations like Sask Power has signed on to Charter Champions to commit to procuring more services from women-owned, women-led businesses.
I love that.
It's amazing. And so if you are a women-owned or women-led business, you need to get on our list of businesses. Again, on WESK.ca, you can go in and add your business to our directory. It is our most used page on our website most visited page because people want to support women. They want to support local women. So put your name on the list because people are going there actively searching for women-owned and women-led businesses, and you can just
upload your name,
type up a form and send it. Yeah. It's really easy. There's not a lot of hoops to jump through.
None.
So that's a huge part of what we do is really advocating. And, you know, I talked earlier about the ecosystem, making sure that we're connected with the other nonprofits so that we don't want to replicate services. You know, I don't want to try and do what someone else is doing when they're already doing it really well. We want to elevate. We want to streamline. We want to create pathways for people to find the things that they need. And that's really what WESK is about. And as an entrepreneur, I moved here a year and a half ago from Calgary. And when I got here, I was looking for networks.
Totally.
And I couldn't find them. And I finally stumbled across a WESK Connect last summer. And I met Miriam, the CEO, at that event. And I said to her, where has this been? Like, where has this been? Because I've been looking for it. And she's like, well, we've been here since 65 or something like that. Like, it's a long-standing organization. And I couldn't believe it. But the problem is, in nonprofit, we don't have a big marketing team to go out and make sure our SEO is great and, you know, make all these beautiful graphics.
It's hard to make big waves when you're a small fish.
Our marketing team is 1.5 people.
Yeah, and you're lucky.
They do an amazing job, but there's not a lot of them. So this is where we lean to our community, to our members, to share and to say, you know, there is an organization that supports women in Saskatchewan, and we just want more and more women to be successful in business. And that's my own business. That's the same lens that I have, is supporting women and non-binary people and creating online businesses. So, you know, I'm not saying men can't be entrepreneurs, but like, let's let the women have their moment.
You know what? We've been waiting.
Not patiently.
Well, and you know, this whole like online like ability now, I feel like it lets women navigate more flexibility in their lives, which is critical because the mom guilt. It's like juggling all these things. I think when you have two partners working full time and nobody is able to like have that flexibility is a disaster. We need flexibility.
Oh my gosh, our family. So I'm married. We have 2 kids. We have a dog.
What kind of dog?
She's a doodle.
Aww.
Kevin the dog.
Kevin?
Yeah.
You have a... Oh, I love Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin the dog. Kevin. She is cute and fluffy, but she's work. And so it adds to the whole dynamic. We have a 5-year-old. We have a 7-year-old.
Oh, so you're really busy.
So we're busy. My wife works shift work. She works at the general hospital.
Oh,
so
you're
like,
super busy.
Some nights she's like working midnight till 8 a.m.
No.
Right? So like we have to be flexible.
You need to.
Yeah. We both do. Because now, so thank you to WESK for this job because I still run my business, but I have an amazing team that runs that business largely for me. I need to show up for like 2 hours a week in that business, and that allowed me to be full-time with WESK. And now that I'm full-time with WESK, I'm not home all the time. So it's really shifted the dynamic of labor in our household around who's making supper, who's picking up kids. This kid's sick, who's staying home with them? Oh, I have a radio interview today. Sorry, I can't.
That's a big one. That is a big one, though. Yeah. You know, like I find that's something that my hubby and I always are juggling with too. And I find that like since I'm at home, it kind of leans more to me.
Yes.
Which is fine. Like that's the point of it, but it does make it more tricky.
Yes. And as your business grows and takes off, you can't do it as much as you maybe initially thought that you could. And this goes back to, I said this at the beginning, like hiring help. You know, as you're successful, we want to keep doing it ourselves. Well, I've gone this far on my own. But like
and
maybe
it's
money.
Time.
It costs money, but you're making money, and like costs money to make money. That's a whole saying. People say that.
It's a reason.
Right. There's a reason.
It's scary too. I think women are more cautious.
Yeah, some of them. Not me. I deleted my website one night and started over.
How did it feel?
You know what? I'm actually writing an entire keynote speech about it.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. It was one of those things that like you literally lose sleep over, and you have the pros and cons. Should I do this? Should I not? Like, am I making the right decision? This could be the worst decision I've ever made, or it could be the best. Like, you just go back and forth and back and forth.
Yes.
And I remember it was a Sunday afternoon, and I was sitting at my desk, and I'm like, okay, I think it's time to delete the website. and I like, my hand was like a little shaky, a little sweaty.
Yeah, that's significant.
And I like scroll to the settings.
Your money.
And then I'm like, delete website. And then the pop-up, are you sure? Delete website? This cannot be undone.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm making the right decision. Yes, delete website. Click, and it was gone. And I started over. And that is literally the moment when rubber met the road. That was when money started flowing in the door, when I started finding like dream clients, because I released the thing that wasn't working. And I think that is the biggest thing, if I can leave you with one thought, is like, you can't continue making the same mistake because it costs you a lot of time and a lot of money getting there. And I think we all do that in entrepreneurship, in life. Like, how many people are using their university degree? I'm not.
Guess what my university degree
What?
is? Marketing.
Oh, well, you're kind of using it then.
I am. Isn't that weird?
My university degree is in human ecology. No one even knows what that is.
What is it?
Well, I study people and how they interact. So I do, like, use it, but, like...
That's marketing.
It's kind of.
Sales.
Yeah. Like, so, you know, it's, like, kind of social work adjacent. Is kind of what it was.
Yeah. I like that.
Right? But, like, I didn't really use that. And so I think we get hung up on, you know, I spent a lot of money on this logo and this brand. But then it's like, maybe if I just delete it and rebrand, that will change everything. And so we question it. We question the decision.
That's my button right now.
Right?
And I'm like, oh gosh.
But it's like, what? So this is where I'm always like, what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly.
What's the actual worst? It doesn't work. Like, I don't make money doing it. Okay, well, I'm not making money now, so is that really worse? Like, it's the same.
Exactly. And
so...
Then, yeah, I know. It's just hard because you're right. You've committed to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
When Olivia said that, I was like, you're right. And it's
like, but that's the thing too, is like,
I grew out of it.
You grew out of it. And when it started, that was the perfect theme.
It was.
When you started, that was perfect. But then as you go along through your journey in entrepreneurship, things change and shift. And you have to stay adaptable. Yeah. Like, an amazing entrepreneur is adaptable. If you look at the millionaires, the billionaires in the world, they're not doing the same thing today that they were doing 10 years ago. Certainly, probably not even the same thing they were doing a month ago.
I love that.
You have to adapt. You have to be agile. And you need to just lean into your unique strengths.
Just think about this. If we'll just keep on leaning, eventually we're going to be able to go on to, like, Below Deck, that TV show. It's like my dream.
It's literally on my list. I'm doing it.
Well, this is my list. Are you serious? We're going to be on it together. Let's do it.
I literally have a
list
in my phone called Jessica's Preference Sheet. And I'm like getting my preferences ready for when I go on a luxury yacht. Yeah.
Okay, this is it. See, we put it out there. Now it's going to happen.
Now it's going to happen. Well, anyone listening with a private yacht,
we're willing. We're willing to come.
We're willing to participate.
There. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank Jessica so much for coming on today and talking about WESK and talking about jessicapegg.com. Mm-hmm. And I would love for all of you guys to just have a wonderful day out there. Take care. Bye now.